Hello everyone. Surprise, I'm live. I told you I was going to go live a few times this week and I'm sticking to that promise. So you guys have been asking me a lot about the Chefwave non-dairy milk maker. And I have been saying, no, I am not going to review it. But I had it on like Honey or something. It went, hey, the Chef Made is $99. And I was like, oh, okay. It's usually $250. Also, you know how I tell you about Amazon Warehouse? So last year, if you went to Amazon on your desktop computer, you could click down the drop down that says books or household or any of that stuff. There was Amazon Warehouse. Now, if you go to the Chefwave page or hey CJ, or I don't know, your favorite book, you might see something used below it on that same sales page. So we'll talk about pros and cons of doing that and what's happened so far. I have used the cleaning cycle. Lisa, it's good to see you, yay. And if you guys have a milk maker, tell me which milk maker you use. I don't have a huge opinion about this. I do know that there have been a lot of returns, and that's why there are multiple ones for $99. So I ordered the first one. This is the second one that was also from the same place, refurbished, I'm pretty sure. Could just be used. The first one came in this box with just stickers. And I cleaned it and did all the good things. Hey Ron and Portobello Row, it's good to see you guys. And plugged it in and it wouldn't turn on. So I was like, oh. And I went to do the return. It was like, do you want to return it or do you want to get another one? And I was like, it's never asked me if I wanted another refurbished model. And then I realized, oh, they have a lot. Because, you know, there have been issues with this. So what I did last night when I got it is I plugged it in and I went through the cleaning cycle. And so it does work, it does turn on. It got cleaned, and then I soaked this carafe in a little bit of soapy water. So this is similar to the Milky Plant, which I'm not a huge fan, and I could change my mind. Hey Evo and Karen, it's good to see you guys drop in. Is that, you know, we have this little space here. They can't really be scrubbed out the way like the Miomat, which is in front, or the Nutter, or the Archimera can. And that makes me a little bit suspicious, but we'll see. Also, whereas it uses some of the same messaging that Nutter does, in that ours is so smooth you don't need to strain it. And I can't imagine that's ever going to be the case for Cheryl. Cheryl, even with the Miomat, I had to get a smaller strainer. She really doesn't like any kind of particles in there. She doesn't drink juice with pulp, right? Or any of that stuff. Oh, awesome. Tal says, I've got my Archimera and I'm still getting used to it. Absolutely. And there is a learning curve to all of these. And also, one may be for one person and not another person, and that's why I try to do as many of them as I can. I know there's like a Nama M $400 milk maker that, again, is kind of like the Nutrimilk, which is about $500. So I did the Nutrimilk because they sent me one to do on a YouTube. I would love it if anybody has a Nama M connection to hook me up, and I'd be glad to do that. But you can make almond milk and things like that in your existing juicer. So we'll probably do that in the next couple of months as well. Aw, thanks Evo. You're awesome. So this is the box that came in. And we will look at the real thing too, and we're gonna make a soy milk in here. And then I thought, well, it's cooking, we'll make some other recipe in the Miomat, because why not have an exciting time? So it's self-cleaning. It's got 6 milk programs, 2 batch sizes. So it's a 10 ounce or a 20 ounce. So 10 ounce is just a little over a cup. 20 ounces is like a cup and a half. So I feel like it's going back to like the larger arc mirror, which is a little bit bigger. I think it does 2.5 cups. I haven't done it on the channel, but for this other shopping platform I've been playing with, I have the Nutter family size, and it does about 1.5 to 2 cups. It's not giant. I don't think it's family. It's for a family of 4 that drinks coffee to put milk in their coffee. It's not like the Miomat, which, you know, it is about 4 cups of milk. And hey, Patsy and Plants Only Muncher. All right, so I'm going to read, you know, it's, what I do like is they do put, like, the power is 1,000 watts, the voltage, stuff like that. It includes a milk maker, glass pitcher with lid, and a wastewater basin. I'll show you all that. Make non-dairy milks at home. Duh, we knew that was going to happen. It says it's much faster than traditional methods. I think it's just excluding straining, which may or may not need to happen. And it has almond, macadamia, hazelnut, soy, oat, cashew, and coconut settings. And they don't want you to pre-soak anything. You can use raw or roasted nuts. That goes for any milk maker that you might be using. And you can customize your flavors. That's with any milk maker you're using. So, and it came with a little, very small kind of instruction booklet that did have error messages. So I want you, when you get one of any milk maker, and I'll kind of, oh, it's really, there we go. They've got all these things and they tell you what's going on. And I needed that yesterday when I was just doing the cleaning. And so make sure that you have this handy when you take this out. Oh, Tony says a friend has one of these. I've heard a lot of people really like them. So I thought, let's see what happens. Hey, Ellen, it's good to see you, as always. There's a little bitty recipe book. I'm suspicious of some of these. So it's like 1.5 tablespoons of oats for 20 ounces of water. And I think it should be more than that. We'll see how it can handle it in here. It's just got regular milks pretty much, almond, cashew, soy, oat, macadamia, coconut, cashew, almond, almond, soy, coconut, almond, and hazelnut. So we're just gonna make plain, and it's got like, you know, some combos that work well together and a little thank you. It looks like maybe they're at Target and Walmart now. So one of the first things, and I'll see if I can do it. I spilt a bunch of water because I keep forgetting. It has a reservoir, and this reservoir comes off. There's no raised marks at all, and so they would not be helpful to you at all. It makes me confused. So basically right now with it turned off, I can show everybody who can see. And in case you guys don't know, Rill is visually impaired, which is, she helps me do some of these reviews, which is very helpful. It's completely smooth. So even the button that has the red line around it that lets you find out about stuff, it is also smooth too. Okay, Patsy has this product as well. Okay, and one thing, let's move this way. So there's this part, and this is the reservoir. Oh, and I'm just pouring water out of it. Again, that's why I have the clean towel over here. Because I filled it a little bit fuller, and I'll talk about that in a minute too. So this is the button. This button is raised to open up to where you're going to put your milk making ingredient, be it almonds or soy or whatever. Okay, so we've got that. And then, let's see, just come here to this one. Okay, and so then in the front, this comes out. This has a little thing to let it know if it's in there or not. There's a little hole. I was thinking I might be able to put like a Miomat strainer in here, and I haven't tried that yet because I know Cheryl's not going to like this, but I was thinking it would be interesting this time today to make it the way it says and then put it through my normal straining process and see how much pulp it is. So, and then inside of here is where like the cleaning water is going to go. So we'll empty that out. Let me see which, I think this might be the best camera. The controls are not individual at all. I don't think they would work for you, Rel, because honestly, they make me a little confused, and I can even see them when they come on. I haven't turned them on yet. Okay, so this is the reservoir. So you're supposed to fill here for cleaning. And then if you want 10 ounces, so you're going to fill up all the way to here, so you have water for cleaning, water for your 10 ounce, 20 ounce all the way up to here. Last night I filled it up to this line and I got an error message that said it was out of water. So I added a little bit of extra water, and that's why I did that. I don't know if that's this machine or if it's just, that's what happened. If that makes sense. Okay. So much water. Yeah, so like I'm gonna plug it in and then I'll show overhead that once you, so before you plug it in, it just looks like a flat piece of white plastic where the controls are. And that is not helpful at all, I don't think. I think you would agree. So I'm going to plug this in, and when you get something that's used, I would say always plug it in. Oh, you can't really, it's so light. Can you, I'm trying to think. You can sort of see them. They're very light in the light. I'll see if I do it with this camera. If we can see it any better. No. You can sort of see them really light, which is not super helpful. But, so when I press start, then I get these choices. So I'm going to stop that for a second. Nope, 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 nope. Don't do anything. Stop it. So I need to put some soybeans in here. I'm not used to this machine, so I want to let you know. Oh, and Patsy says she does add a little extra. So they're saying in the Milkmaid to do 1 tablespoon of soybeans. I use a half a cup of soybeans for, I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of soybeans. I really want to put 3, but I'm going to not push it. I'm going to put 2 and we'll see how it feels. So when you're doing stuff like the amount of soy, almonds, whatever to water is going to make your milk more like skim milk or more like whole milk. So you can change the ingredients and the amount of water if you're making it at home. Oh, let's see. Portobello Rowe said, just discovered You Pick brand golden Inca berries. Oh, you must have seen my You Pick over here. I've got some blanched almonds. Yeah, and I use those sometimes too. All right. Yeah, and Real says, I've asked because we marked a number of my appliances with puffy paint or other markers so I can deal with the flat screens on my dishwasher and smart oven. You might be able to do it. I find that it's really hard to read and there's a lot of different things on there. I will try and take a picture maybe of that without all the lighting that's making it hard to read, and I'll maybe put that as the thumbnail of this so everybody can see it. Or see if I can put it in a comment. It's not easy to read in general. Okay, so besides my middle-aged complaints, okay, so we're gonna hit start again, and then Okay, it's soy is blinking. So we have almond. I know you can't see any of this, macadamia, soy. So I think if I just leave it there, and what about volume? Does that do anything? 20. And then that's auto clean. Oh, and that's just changing things actually. So no. Nope, I don't want to auto clean. Going back to soy. Select. There we go. Nope. And start. Maybe? Or is it going to start on its own? I will read the real instructions. I always like to make my first batch with you guys so that we can figure out what needs to happen. It kept trying to start on me a minute ago. Maybe I have to say volume. Okay. I'm going back to read what I'm supposed to do. Because they're just giving me amounts here. Here we go. Press the glass pitcher and press select. Continue pressing select, although that says select, until you select the non-dairy milk. Select volume. Press the start button. Okay, so eventually if you don't press the stop button, it will go, but it's going to take a little while. And this says it's going to take 16 minutes, which seems really fast for soy milk. Okay. And Portobello Row, I'm going to be talking about using the blanched almonds are the ones I have right now. I bought them because it is easier to strain. When you're straining almond milk, you're straining a lot of that skin. So I'm also going to be making this pumpkin horchata. They called for already made almond milk, and I'm going to see if I can just do it with blanched almonds instead. Volume, then start. Okay, volume, then start, and hit select, choose the option, then hit start. Okay, got it. Okay, and it's doing its thing. I'm going to see if I can move it to the side a little bit, and while it's doing that, we're going to use the Miomat. So you guys, if you're on my mailing list, you've seen that I've talked about their autumn recipe book. And I want to make some recipes. It's not just for autumn either. But there's this pumpkin horchata that I think is really interesting. So in case you're just watching this and you're like, why are you mixing all the milk makers? I just didn't think it would be fun to sit here for 16 minutes. And for me, Miomat is still my favorite milk maker. I like the motor is very heavy. It's got this thing that helps, it comes off, this little cover, so you can make soups without the cover. Milks, you use the cover. It's all stainless steel. There's some plastic involved in this, so it depends on how you feel. I'm also worried a little bit about how everything's going to work. So from last night, from doing the cleaning, this is going to heat right now. So it's heating up some water. So it does have a heating cycle, whereas something like the Nutrimilk or the Nama or the Almond Cow, they don't have heating settings. And that doesn't mean they're bad. It just means you have to go through a lot more steps to make soy milk. So you would have to cook the soybeans, strain the soybeans, then start to use these non-heating ones. And if that's okay for you, great. I like to just make it happen. Sometimes I soak my soybeans and sometimes I don't. This particular model, and I've seen many Chinese brands say don't soak them, that it makes them foam more and stuff like that. CJ loves her Miomat. Yeah, I just think it's a really heavy duty product. I like the owners. I do talk with them. And I like them because when they reached out a few years ago for me to try theirs, I let them know I was going to be trying a bunch of different milk makers, and they're like, that's great. We would love to see real information out there. Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna mostly follow this recipe, which is what I expect you to do for me. All right, I did water. I filled up a bunch of water, but I didn't bring it over here. So this recipe, and they're also, in this book, you can make pumpkin puree inside of this. Hey, how are you doing? I think, because iCast is Big Country, right? I think that's you. So we're gonna do, like, there's Miomat cups, and this is about a half, this container holds about a half a cup. Look, it's spinning. See how things are going? You might be able to see a little bit of smoke coming out. I think it's exciting. I live a very tiny life. Okay, so I'm using basmati rice because that's what I have, any white rice. If you had some super cheap emergency rice with broken rice, this is the perfect use for it. So we'll put that in there. Go ahead and give you an overhead. Yeah, old country, not big country, old country. And then it's asking for some sugar, and I'm gonna go ahead and use regular sugar. Yay, one anti-venom is joining on her treadmill. You go. My treadmill is covered with stuff right now, and that has to stop. Like, not even, so it's using 3 tablespoons of sugar. You could use dates instead, probably about 3 dates. You could use maple syrup instead. You could use coconut sugar instead. Oh, I want you guys to see this too. Look. Oh, let me get the camera changed. You can kind of see the soy milk. Portobello Rose says, I still have my almond cow for almond milk and buy soy milk. You could cook up a couple of pounds of soybeans, freeze them in almond cow sized portions, and then just put them in and use the almond cow as normal. So you could do that. This is not the Gate City rice. So like Jeremy, who's our friend of mine, was like, Gate City rice? No, we're down at the bottom of our bag. This is like this extra long, fluffy basmati rice that Jeremy turned us on to, which is really cool. I figured, Jeremy, you would sense that a milk maker was being used and you would come on. But anyhow, I thought that was cool. You can kind of see it going. That's kind of a nice thing. We'll see. All right. So then I'm going to do some cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg. And I'm making this pumpkin spice horchata here. So a tablespoon of ground cinnamon. And you could, the cool thing about making something like this is then after you make it the first time, you can then make it to your own specifications. Okay, that made me a little nervous. I'm nervous just because I've heard so many of them breaking. And it said 4 whole cloves, but I'm just gonna put like 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground. And then we're going to use about 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And this is their recipe. We can adjust it however we see fit. And then about a cup of pumpkin, so I just use the rest. Making oatmeal, because pumpkin spice oatmeal is one of my favorites. And I love horchata with its, like, usually it's just cinnamon. So they're using kind of pumpkin spice. And if you had a pumpkin spice mix or my pumpkin spice mix, you could just use it too. Horchata is a traditional Hispanic drink made of almonds, corn, and cinnamon. And I think on healthyslowcooking.com I have one made with oats. And you know I'm going to spatula every last piece of this pumpkin out. Alright, so it's asking for almond milk. And I don't have almond milk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use cup of these blanched almonds, just because I don't think we're going to need to strain them without the skins on them. That's kind of why I got them to play with. And we'll find out. Okay. And then I'm going to add water to the max fill line. I'm going to move it towards me so I can see the max fill line. And it's going to use the cereal milk program. I'm going to plug it in over here where this plug is. Try and change cameras and hopefully nothing starts. Take a few minutes anyhow. So I'm kind of hoping they will kind of all come together pretty good. Can you hear that, Star? So cereal milk is a heated setting, and the heated settings are going to make almond milk froth really nicely. So that's one thing. If you're not doing hot or a warm setting on your almond milk, you'll notice there's a difference. Ooh, CJ makes a horchata with tiger nuts. That's really interesting. Portobello Rose says, interesting, thanks Kathy, you're the plant milk and ninja creamy queen. I try. There's so many milk makers. So last year, was it this year or last year that I did my first one? Whenever I did my first one, there were maybe 10 or less, and now there's dozens. So there might be something that looks like the Chefwave with 17 different brands. And some people think this is just the American-facing brand or the English brand from a Chinese manufacturer. And they do have the steps here a little bit, and they have the error messages, so they do have some messaging on the side as well. I feel like this is cooking a good long time, and this is hot. And I don't know if you can see the steam coming off. And then I thought, if we needed to make another one, that's got about 5 minutes. So I haven't done the nutter here. So this isn't the little nutter. Oh, let me see if I can grab the little nutter and show you that. Which no one should have. You shouldn't have a cabinet full of them. So this is the original nutter. This is the Nutter Oasis or family size. One thing that I think is a great thing is they've added a little steam escape. This was pretty for TikToks, but the lid wouldn't always stay on well. And I think this one's pretty easy to use. And then I have another cord over here that I can plug in for it. And my friend Faith was asking me, can you make peanut, or no, what she said to me was, you can't make peanut milk, can you? Which is the first way to get me to do something. So maybe she knew that. Let me see if I need a little more water. And I thought we'd make, like, it could be a peanut milk, it could be like a creamer, but I was thinking we could do something that's kind of like a candy bar creamer with peanuts, cocoa, and dates. Oh, it's putting out some of this soy milk, so let's... I'm excited. Put it here so you can see it a little closer. Now I'm curious to know, I feel like there should be more milk coming in, and if it'll do its auto cleaning cycle. So if anybody, actually, if you know, Patsy, if it'll automatically do that or if I'll have to come back and do it. I still don't have all the 20 ounces of milk, but perhaps I chose wrong. We'll find out, won't we? Are you feeling the suspense around this that I am? Or is it just me? Now, what I can see already is that there is a layer of thicker, pulpier kind of thing, and we'll take a look at that. I kind of don't want to go too far away, but we will make this other milk while the pumpkin horchata is making. I suspect I might have made it do 10 ounces, and if I did, it will be very thick. What's on my shirt? It's this little gargoyle guy from Gideon's, which is like a coffee cookie pastry place. The coffees are vegan, nothing else is, but a lot of the shirts that Cheryl and I wear are made by an artist there. And we actually have prints in the house of them. Right? Pumpkin horchata, that's what I was looking through, and I'm like, I must have this. I think it's just cleaning right now. Oh, okay, excellent. Patsy says it's automatic. Just wait. You'll get your milk in 2 stages if you hit the 20 ounce. I think I did. It's, even for me, like, you know, you couldn't see it at all. For me, I have to hold my hand like this. So it says it's 1 more minute, which makes me think that we are probably on a clean cycle. But I'm guessing just like any other human being who gets a new thing. About 1 minute, and then we'll make some peanut milk. I've got some cocoa, I've got some dates. I would just use regular peanuts or roasted peanuts. I have roasted salted peanuts. That's all I have, and that's why I'm going to use it. With any of your milks. Oh, it shows cleaning when it's cleaning. Thanks, Patsy. Thank you for assisting me in today's live. I appreciate it. It's just like when I did unbox the Ninja Deluxe and I couldn't get the thing out. Oh yeah, there it goes. See, look, Patsy, you're absolutely right. Now it's beeping to tell me it's done. And will it automatically clean? Or do I have to go? You said it'll automatically clean. Yes, it is going to an automatic clean cycle. Can I take this out while it's cleaning? Or will it make it stop? It says it's 7 minutes of cleaning. And I'm curious because also soy sticks so badly to almost everything. Okara, that soy pump. I can take it out. I hear it like rinsing. Okay. We'll see if anything bad happens. Ooh, it's nice and frothy. It smells good. Yes, if you blend peanuts without water, you will get peanut butter. Absolutely. Oh, okay. And Evo says, so I'm hearing all the noises. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Evo says, I think we have a similar milk maker in Germany. I would not be surprised at all. I think there's really like 5, 6 styles of milk makers that are being remade. Sometimes a few things are changing on them, like, and they're changing the brand name. Okay, so some water went into the little waste bin. And what I wanted to do is, again, I'll bring this camera over so you can see close up too. So you can kind of see there was a little line of soy pulp. It's looking pretty good, honestly. Okay, I'm going to scrape some and taste it. Oh yeah, Cheryl, it's really, really, really fine. Like, it is the finest okara perhaps that I've ever had. And I'll let you see the spoon that I just dipped in it, right? So there's really not much, but that all is going to be detected by Cheryl. So out of curiosity, I went ahead, and this is my normal milk straining setup. I like this strainer. I'm trying to find one better than this. It's very, very, very thin. I did find, I don't think I have it here, it's big. I found a metal one that's used for sifting flour. And so the reason I have this one is because this is not enough milk. It might be for this time. But usually I sit it up here so that I can pour more cups in there. And if I like this better, then what I would do is have a strainer as part of this. I do think it is, like I said, oh, there we go. Get this book out of that. It's a spilling day here at the Hester household. How are you doing? How's your day been going? That's what I want to know. Okay. And I'm just going to scrape this out really good. I mean, it's more foam, and I think if you don't, I'm surprised. I was going to say they're crazy. Of course you have to strain, but I think some people wouldn't have to. It is, but it does make it much thicker, and maybe that's exactly why they're putting half the amount of soybeans that I thought I would put in there. And I'm just curious to see what's going to be left over, and there definitely is leftovers as far as okara. And this is not to say it's not okay for you, right? It's perfectly up to you, but see, this is a good amount of okara that Cheryl would stop drinking, and it's going to sink to the bottom. So if you're not using it all, so this is the milk I'm going to put in. And then this okara we can use for other things. We can make a quick little cheese spread, put it with our oatmeal, put it in the mashed potatoes. Patsy, do you strain out your okara when you make soy milk, or are you okay with it? I mean, it's very, very fine. I mean, and that's a nice looking soy milk. Set this away. Most of my containers are in the dishwasher right now. That's about 20 ounces. That's probably a goodly amount. I'm sorry that this is so loud, but it is a milk maker demo. Patsy says I usually let it cool and then I strain. And so I get a little annoyed with Nutter, and I have before with Chefwave, because I feel like Nutter definitely does not make okara that small. But this is really nice. There's not like a big line of okara. This is going to work really well and be delicious. So so far so good. Added some extra water. Oh, it's done. Okay, so I'm going to pour this out. This is basically the cleaning water. And normally I would just go ahead and save something like that for plants and just rinse this out. And I'm just going to take this off so that I'm not just continuously spilling it. And let's look at how clean the top got. I think that's nice and clean. That's cleaner than when it came to me. So when it came here, it did have some little almond scraps in there because it was a used model. I just cleaned it a couple of times. It gets really hot, so I felt good about that as far as sterilization. And it wasn't like it was almond butter in there or anything. There were just a couple of almond skins. Probably what happened is it broke and someone didn't want to clean it up. What I did after I cleaned is I took this little guy out so this could dry. Because I could see, since this is kind of airtight with this seal, right? It's just, there's a seal here, there's a seal up there. That could get moldy, so I would let this dry out. And I would say it worked well. I would say I'm pretty happy with it. I would also say that if you decide to get one of the Chef Maids that are $99 right now, that are returns or used or whatever, that's fine, but you might have to try it, make sure it plugs in, make sure you get a screen before you bother cleaning everything. And Patsy strains it because she likes to eat it. I have a lot of okara recipes. And it will get thicker as it sits, and it will also get in the bottom. And Old Country says, I would have no problem with the texture. I even add back some pulp when juicing. My wife and daughter only want juice only, and then I put back some pulp. I don't mind some of it, but it just depends. If I'm cooking, like if I'm making a soup or stew, unless it's a fancy creamy soup, I don't mind it. So, and I don't think the Miomat beeped. I think it's just still cooking. So let me find out about that, and we'll make some, yeah, it's still going. I don't use the serial setting that long. All right, so this is the Nutter. As we continue along our milk making journey, we're gonna make, this is the Nutter Oasis, and inside, it's a lot like the other Nutter. Stainless steel here, it's got a plastic top, but this time it has a little escape for steam, which can help with boiling over. Also, I feel that this top locks. The other one would go around really easily. This has a really nice lock in it, which is in fact what the Arc Mirror had when I had the Nutter. This is their little cup, so it's a smaller cup. And I'm going to get peanuts. And I am using salted roasted peanuts because that's what I have. Unsalted is fine. Also, you can add a little bit of salt to any of these milks if you want to. It will make it taste a little bit sweeter. Okay. So we'll add one of those. We'll see how that does. I'm going to add a tablespoon of cocoa powder. You could use cacao powder if that's what you're happiest with. And we could, trying to decide, let's just do 2 and make it like dark chocolate. Okay, then I have some dates, and I think I'm going to put, I've got to pit these medjool dates. If I could open it, here we go. And usually I try to feel around for some of the softer ones because they're just going to do a little bit better. As far as in this, we're not cooking it for a really long time. Making sure. I'm going to wash my hands because now they're all icky. And then I'll come back and add water and we'll start that up. We'll probably just use, we could use either a room temperature setting. Since the peanuts are a little bit harder, I may use the warm. Okay. I'm going to put this up to the 600 milliliter, which is the maximum. 400 milliliter is the minimum. And with the Nutters and a lot of these, you want to put the lid on. Then we can plug it in. And I'll see if I can do this backwards. I really am not good at that though. Okay. Okay, let's try this one. To warm. And then if I wait, it beeps and it's going to start doing it on its own. But I would love, if you guys have some, do you have some milk maker questions while we're doing this? Because I'm only going to make 3 recipes. I wasn't even going to make all 3 until I started looking around, and you know how I am. And this we'll put through a strainer too. I'm trying to think of what I have where I can strain it. I'll worry about that later. We'll taste it first. What was that? Oh, it's just telling me it's doing so. It's still getting ready to work. So the Nutter Oasis, so I also have, and I've done, I think 1 demo so far. And this is the larger Archmira. Because remember, the smaller Archmira is my favorite small milk maker. It's the one I travel with. And then everybody was asking me about a larger one. The first larger one they had was glass, but it had a non-stick bottom. And I did not like that. Because a lot of stuff sticks on, and if you scrub it, that's going to come away really quickly. So if you make soy milk, so I was like, I don't want to be a part of that. And then they came out with this one. And one of you guys told me, and see, they have the little steam release tops, which I think are very important. You're so funny. Betty Crocker has nothing on you, Kathy. That's hilarious. The professional progression of your stream, that is also hilarious. I've dropped my towel on the floor. I've spilled stuff. I'm just making stuff. We all hanging out. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. You should leave hungry every time you drop in. Alicia, that's a really great question, because Alicia, you've been starting to make some of your own nut milks, I think, when we were talking at camp. So Old Country and Alicia are in my video cohort. So they're my, you know, when I talk about, I go to eCam camp and I talk to all the people and they're awesome. These are some of those people. So is Aubrey and Doc, who come by sometimes. So there's a lot of school of thoughts, Alicia, about what you need to soak and what you don't. So some people feel like if you soak almonds, if you soak soybeans and then do them, they're going to be more digestible. So if you find that you're having some digestive upsets, then I would soak them for sure. Some milk makers, especially those made in China, versus like the Miomat's, like, you want to soak your soybeans, you go right ahead. It's just going to be easier on my motor. So that's why you're going to see 2 different messages about that. And this one should work okay with soaked soybeans. I'll try it and we'll see if it runs everywhere or not. With almonds, there's a thing about activated almonds that they think it makes certain things more available. And since I'm a recipe developer and not a doctor, I'm not sure I can tell you that. But with any of them, like, it's just going to be harder in the motor. Like, you can hear, like, how you're hearing how loud this one is now is because the nuts are hard. So if I'm putting unsoaked almonds in there, when I'm using the Vitamix, because you guys know, if you don't want to buy a milk maker, you can still make milk. I like these because I like to make soy milk. And I don't want to cook my soybeans and freeze them. I just want to make my soy milk. Thank you. I have to strain it and clean up. That's enough for me. But if you're just making almond milk and things like that, almonds I would soak before I put in my blender, especially if you don't have a high-speed blender like a Vitamix or a Blendtec or a Beast. All of those could probably take it. But what I would do, if you didn't soak your almonds, I would blend them for maybe 1 to 2 minutes, walk away for 20 minutes, because those pieces are going to soften faster than if we just left whole almonds in there to absorb the water. And each cookbook will kind of tell you a different thing, but if you don't, so loud, I'm hearing loud everywhere. Wah! I'm sure the mic is taking care of it. But like, if you don't want to soak, you don't want to strain, use cashews or pecans. I don't strain my cashew milk. It's such a soft nut that when you blend it up really well, you're just done. You're just done. So if I need something really, really fast, and I have a few of these, so like this is oats, cocoa, and cashews. I have like pecans and walnuts and stuff like that. And I just usually use nuts for milk only. If I'm making a cheese sauce or something like that, I tend to use oats because they're cheaper, they're lower fat, and things like that. And Evo says she always soaks her almonds too. So that works well too. And there's no one answer really. You can do it however you want to. Anybody else have some other milk maker questions? Second channel name for the future, Kathy the Milk Maker Junkie. Kind of, you know, because as soon as I think, okay, I'm done, like the Nama M just came out. I wanted to do this one for you guys because this one is cheaper than the Miomat and it's a little bit bigger. It's not going to last as long as the Miomat. So if you can afford the Miomat and you want to make soy milk, it'll make smoothies, it'll make hot soups. We can make hot soups in any of the ones that do hot. I don't think I would do that with the Chef Maker just because you can only clean it out so much. So I think some of the vegetable smell might stick. Whereas with these others, we have a stainless steel interior, so those smells shouldn't stick as much. Does that make sense? And now I'm just hanging out, waiting for somebody to be done. This is my life, y'all. This is how it goes. So tell me what milk makers you have. I know some of you have. So somebody has a Chefwave, a couple of people have Miomats. Anybody have anything else unusual? And if not, I can start talking about other things too. I will just start making stuff up. Elisa says, are you going to get the Nama M1? I would love to. So if anybody has a hookup for the Nama people that can introduce me, I have a contact with the Huram people, the Huram juicer, which is similar to the Nama J. I'm just not sure. Oh, I do have the Nutrimilk. You have the Nutrimilk, Linda? And the Nutrimilk is great, and I usually recommend it for people. Okay, Lisa has the Nutrimilk machine. And tell me what you guys usually make in there. It's great for almond, nut milks, grain milks. You have to do oat milk a certain way, so you soak your oats for the Nutrimilk, which you don't really have to do for any of the others. Jeremy says no coconut curry and milk makers. No, we don't want to make thick sauces in here. And we don't want to leave out water by mistake. Not that I've ever done that at a party, but perhaps I have. Eva says, I have no milk maker yet. Maybe I'll buy one after seeing your videos. And I have a whole bunch of videos on the different ones. So other than knowing what my day-to-day go-to is, there's a whole world that may fit you. And like the little Archimera, I don't even have up here because it's in our travel bag. So with the Nutter and the Archimera, there's a warm setting. So I can put in some tea, some cashews, and just let it go for 5 minutes, maybe a date or something like that. And I strain it, and then we have tea lattes. Or you, instead of water, you could put cold brew coffee in there with some cocoa and some dates and some cashews. And so it's just really nice because I feel like every time now when we go to get a specialty drink, a coffee drink, it's like $8 each, and that's a lot of money. So my little $60 Archimera has saved us that time and time and time again. And Elisa says, I have a Vitamix, but what milk maker would you recommend? Oops, sorry about that. Especially for small batches would be the small arc mirror. And it should be down in the description. I usually have all the milk makers. If I don't, put it in a comment and I'll give you a link. The regular arc mirror, and I don't know what the pricing is today, is usually $50-ish. It makes about a cup and a half. So it's, where did I put the little nutter somewhere, didn't I? I have the little nutter up here, and it's about that size. Like you're witnessing middle age. One day you'll get here too. So this is the nutter family. This is the small nutter. It is usually 200 or 200 plus. One that's about this size that I think is better built and has a better motor. It looks kind of like a mini one of this. I get either the blue or kind of the teal one. They have different styles under the same thing. And it's about $60 for the smaller one. I think it's about $100 for this one. And I think this one is about $200. So this is these are as expensive almost as the Miomat, which has a much powerful motor. The almond cow is big, kind of like the Miomat. It has, you put the nuts in there and in a little basket, you screw it on. That one's done. And I just find they don't state what their motor is anywhere. I even asked them and they told me they wouldn't answer me. They answered all the numbers about everything but the motor wattage. And then you still kind of have to push it through to strain some of it. And I have to run it 2 cycles. It does like 2 different 15 to 20 second cycles, I think, per round. So I don't love it, and it's the same price as the Miomat. So Alicia, does that help a little bit? Okay, we're gonna take a look at the horchata. So it'll keep beeping for 30 times until I take this out. Oh, it smells really good. Actually, I should get a cup, shouldn't I? I'm gonna see if I cannot strain it, but we'll find out. Actually, let me put it in this mason jar just so we can see if we see a lot of pulp. So when I'm taking this out of the Miomat, like the motor top part, is he not the cutest? Oh yeah, that looks good. And then I just sit it in a little bowl. And now that's really good. Okay, so I'll take this out too. We'll deal with you in a minute. Be patient. You guys. This is fabulous. Okay, I'm going to try and not pour it all over the place, but chances are good that I will. It's very thick, kind of like hot cocoa thick. And then also what I'll do too, I'll come around here and you can barely see, but you can see just a little bit. That's the stuff that could be strained out if you wanted to. But I think with a drink this thick, and you could, it's really good. So this is the pumpkin spice horchata. It looks pretty close, even though I changed it around a little bit, from Miomat's Autumn Cookbook, and I'll show you the cover of that again. And I don't know if I have a link down below, but I've been putting it in my newsletter, so I'll make sure to come back and put a link below. They do really nice cookbooks. There's soups and different things, how to make pumpkin puree, some pulp recipes. Like I said, I really like them. I feel like they do a good job. So you could strain this if you wanted. But like if I made a hot eggnog in the Chefwave, with the blanched almonds, there's less gritty feel than just from the regular soy milk in the Miomat. So I suspect if we put the blanched almonds in the Miomat, there would be nothing. It would be great. All right, Penny says, I have the Arc Mirror small one, but haven't used it yet, but I have the soybeans ready to use. And I've done that both soaked and not soaked, and it worked great. And Lisa in the Nutrimilk, and the Nutrimilk is quite large. It's incredibly powerful. I think the one thing I wish the Nutrimilk had, because it's $500, it's quite expensive, and it doesn't do heat, but the motor is crazy, and it makes great nut butters. So if you have a household where you end up buying a lot of nut butters, which are very expensive, the Nutrimilk is an amazing thing. I wish they had a food processor attachment. I really do. And see, she makes peanut, almond, and sesame butter. And Linda likes the Nutrimilk for its versatility, plant milk, nut butters, high-powered blender, plus the auto scrappers. I don't know the auto scrappers. I'll have to look at that. When you get the Nutrimilk, it's like a thick book you get with it. So I probably didn't read all of it. Yeah, creamer for coffee. I like to make creamers, and I've been doing a lot of those in here. And this I'm kind of considering our candy bar peanut. I guess it could be like a Snickers creamer. This is so good. Plants Only Muncher wants to know, is it cheaper to make your own plant-based milk? Plus it seems like a lot of work. It's an opinion. It also depends. Some people are going to say, no, it's not worth it, and maybe it isn't worth it for you, and that's okay. The reason I wasn't making it before is I really didn't like using nut milk bags. They really creep me out. Because there's always something stuck in there that you can't get out, and I don't like it. So once I started using fine mesh strainers to strain it out, so I'll make soy milk kind of like I did this. Takes a little bit longer. I go about my way, or I go take a walk. I come back. The straining setup that I did for the soy milk, I do that. I put half of this in because I have to do 2 batches for that. I fold it around, so basically you're scraping across the mesh to move it so more milk. You move the pulp, more milk goes through, and you can speed up the process. And I do that till I can fit all of it in there. Then I just go away and live my day, and then if I need to use some milk, I just lift up that strainer, pour it in, and then later on that day, I put the okara away and I put the soy milk away. So you can find a way and a routine that it works for you. You could also use cashews, and you don't have to strain, and you don't have to soak. So it just kind of depends. You can also make it exactly the way you want it. Usually in most, not all, but most store-bought milks have different thickeners. A lot of oat milks have oil added, which most of us are trying to avoid, or salt, or different things. Not all. You can find some, but like you can find Trader Joe's soy. It's good and makes good yogurt. Eden Foods, and there was West Soy. West Soy makes great yogurt, and now it's very expensive. Hey, Via Knowledge, it's awesome to see you, as always. And it depends on what kind of milk you're making and where you're getting your main ingredient. So if you were buying Oatly, which you didn't say you were, but let's say Oatly is kind of expensive, and rolled oats are kind of cheap. Oat milk doesn't last as long, homemade oat milk doesn't last as long as store-bought because it doesn't have stabilizers and things in it. It lasts about 3 days, but it takes about 5 minutes to make it. So, right, and Lisa is saying, I love how clean I can make my milk. And also you can make milks that you can't get, or like I think Elmhurst is really pretty clean. It's fairly expensive. You can get a peanut chocolate milk, or I can make it for whatever it costs me for 2 tablespoons of peanuts. So if you're getting organic soybeans from a place that's incredibly expensive, it might not even out for you. I like making all my different kinds of creamers. I've been making a lot of vanilla creamers and making Earl Grey tea, like London Fog lattes. If you do hot almond milk, meaning you make it on a heated setting like warm or cereal milk or something like that, not on the Miomat raw setting is a little misleading. It just heats up to what the acceptable temperature is for raw, so it still gets cooked. And you can use the smoothie setting, which is what I use if I'm making oat milk, because then there's no heat at all. While some of the Asian milk makers will say, oh, make oat milk on this setting, or make porridge milk or something. It's not Oatly. It's not what you're expecting or we're expecting typically as Americans. So you want to do that on a non-heated setting. Oh, hey Hydran, it's good to see you. Yeah, and JJ says, I like to get the Malk brand, but it's very expensive. It's gum-free though. And so is all of this, right? So is my pumpkin horchata that I could have sweetened with anything. Since it made about 4 cups and I used 3 tablespoons of sugar, I'm fine with that. And it's really thick. It's so good. It's so good. If I would change anything, I probably would up the spices a little bit more. And I might add a little bit more. I'm trying to think. I could probably use a little more of everything. So whenever I make a recipe, but already, I didn't use almond milk. What I used was blanched almonds too. So I already changed the recipe. Oh, cool. JJ says, I love it and really want to do it your way. You need to come down and I can probably give you a secondhand milk maker. We're supposed to meet up sometime. I don't know if the winter will work since you guys tend to get snow, I think, up there where you are, but we can figure it out. But I love this, and like it's just so nice to make your own. And Cheryl's always like, oh, let's get some backup milks. And I don't want to, because if I'm in a hurry and I need an oat milk to make a soup or a stew or something I'm cooking, I just do that in the regular Vitamix. So if you're really just wanting to make oat milk and nothing else, I wouldn't get a milk maker. I really wouldn't, if that's the only thing you want to do. I think it's really nice for all the other milks. Hey Tanya, I think I've been on here about an hour. I was just going to be here for like 15 minutes, but I got overzealous. Tanya's still snowed in. See, and Tanya has the Nama M, so she's been making all the milk. Maybe you have to be a guest star so you can show us how to make it in the Nama M, unless the Nama people contact me. Or I break down and buy one. I just hate to have a juicer and have one of those. Ooh, Hydran says that she found the ideal brush to clean the Beast containers. Yes, do message Cheryl and I will get it, and I will give you credit for sure. All right, so I think I'm gonna go because I have some more things to do. And I'm sorry, Tanya, that you came at the end. I've been just popping on impromptu. I've not been putting anything out. I don't know, I've just been feeling kind of blah. So this week I made a thing. I was going to go live 5 times, and I think this counts as my 4th time. I did live, but it wasn't here. So I think it counts. So at least one more live will happen, probably tomorrow. Yeah, Tanya loves the M1. Oh, you wouldn't have stage fright. You'd be with me. It'd be fine. You'd be fine. I'd talk you through it. And you won't mess up as much as I did. I've poured stuff all over here. But I will say I'm surprised. So I'm surprised I'm in love with this pumpkin horchata, and you know what I'm going to do with some of it when it cools? I'm going to make a Ninja Creamy Pint. That's what I'm going to do. I am unblah now because I have been with you guys, and you guys are amazing and my favorites, and that makes everything better. Oh, we didn't look at the nutter milk. I mean, yeah, the nutter milk. Oh, it smells just like peanuts. I don't know why that surprises me. And it'll be interesting to see how much, here, I'll let you guys see too. Sorry, I'm being selfish. So there's definitely, you can see those little bitty spots. There's definitely some stuff it probably could use some straining. Oh, wow. That tastes just like chocolate covered peanuts. I kid you not. You can really taste peanut forward. So I may see if my friend Faith can come by and pick some of this up. This would make an awesome hot chocolate. It could use more date. I will tell you that. It's not quite sweet enough for me, but it might be sweet enough for you. I think it could have used twice the amount of dates, and then it would have more of a caramel flavor. Right now it tastes mostly like chocolate covered peanuts. So I will be straining this guy out, and either Cheryl will have some wonderful hot chocolate later, or Faith and Jessica will. All right, you guys, have the very best day. Do something really kind and good for yourself, even if it's like going to take a walk. Cheryl and I do so much better when we're going to take a walk. So hopefully you are having just the very best day and you continue, and I will talk to you guys really soon. Bye.